Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the North Carolina Botanical Garden. My name is David Michaud, and I'm our Program and Engagement Coordinator here, and it's my pleasure to welcome you all to the 2025 Jenny Elder Fitch Memorial Lecture. We've got a wonderful crowd both here in person and online tuning in, so thank you all. For those tuning in online, our camera does not quite do it justice, but we were thrilled to have an original creation by Dina Class installed in front of our podium today. On the screen is this beautiful flower panel that Dina created. Dina's standing there on the right next to our speaker today, Teri Speight. And now it's my pleasure to hand things over to Alicia Taylor, who is our Director of Learning and Community Engagement, and she will be introducing our speaker tonight.
Good evening, everyone. It is wonderful to be here with you tonight. And before I introduce our speaker, I'd like to share a brief history of the Jenny Elder Fitch Memorial Lecture. This lecture honors Jenny Fitch, a local plant enthusiast and passionate gardener who grew up in nearby Siler City. In 1962, she married R.B. Fitch, former president of the North Carolina Botanical Garden Foundation. And together they purchased the old Farrington Farm in Pittsboro in 1974 and transformed it into the beautiful Farrington Village that we know today with the inn, shops, restaurant, and gardens. Following Jenny's passing in 1995, her family and friends, together with her husband, established an endowment to fund an annual public lecture celebrating her lifelong passion for gardening, horticulture, wildflowers, and the mission of the garden. The first lecture was held in 1999, and since then, the series has brought outstanding gardeners, horticulturists, and conservationists to Chapel Hill each year, continuing Jenny's legacy of inspiring others to appreciate plants and the natural world. And now it is my great pleasure to introduce tonight's speaker, Teresa J. Speight. Teri is a proud native Washingtonian, mother, grandmother, steward of the land, and garden communicator. With ancestral roots in North and South Carolina, where her forebears were sharecroppers, Teri embraces gardening as a deeply personal and authentic act. For her, connecting with the earth honors the legacy of the generations whose hands built and fed her family. Over the years, Teri has worn many gardening hats. She has served as head gardener for the city of Fredericksburg. She helped establish Stafford County's first transitional organic CSA farm and worked as an estate gardener. She is also an active member of the National Garden Club. Today, Teri continues to nurture community through her work as a writer, visionary, and garden coach. Through her platform, Cottage in the Court, she offers curated garden experiences for small groups and personalized garden coaching that emphasize earth-friendly practices. Her mission is to help others reconnect with the soil, nature, and their roots, believing that through this reconnection, we learn to respect all that the earth provides. During the global pause of recent years, Teri authored and co-authored 2 impactful books. Her debut, Black Flora, Profiles of Inspiring Black Flower Farmers and Florists, celebrates the stories of African-American growers, florists, and designers, a tribute to creativity and the diversity of the Black horticultural community. She also co-authored The Urban Garden, 101 Ways to Grow Food and Beauty in the City with Kathy Gentz. And drawing on their combined experience as urban and suburban gardeners, the book offers practical and adaptable tips for gardeners of all levels, especially those navigating the challenges of city growing spaces. Passionate about gardening, storytelling, travel, and living well, Teri continues to inspire others to find beauty in plants, people, and places. She warmly invites everyone to sit with her at her cottage and share in the joy and wonder the garden has to offer. Please join me in welcoming Teri Speight.
Can everybody hear me? Okay. I warn you now, my dad was Reverend James A. Speight, but I promise we will not be having a sermon tonight. But it'll be close, trust me. He guides me to this day. Both of my parents do. They're no longer on this earth, but they are with me in everything that I do. And it's funny because My mom made all of our clothing. She put me in these wonderful, cute little dresses that were not flattering. But she made them out of anything from tablecloths to from the curtains. We changed curtains seasonally, and mommy was determined I was going to be this little prissy girl that did not work out too well. I busted every dress she ever made me because I wanted to climb trees with my brother. But we had a good time no matter what, and the memory of my parents have brought me to this world of gardening. So what's going on around us? I mean, everyone knows, I refuse to claim it. What are we doing to stay sane? And are we taking notes on how the world is affecting us physically, mentally, and spiritually? One of the things that I advise everyone that I know to do is to find those peaceful places. I work in commercial development. It is not a good time for us in Washington, D.C. right now, but I watch my coworkers walk around with furrowed brows, and I think to myself, y'all need to go outside. You need to take a break. And some days when it's so heavy, I have a lot of empathy. I will get in my car going home, and I will stop at the Botanic Garden, and I will just walk. I'm up to 2 miles a day. I walk because nature is healing me from the inside out, from my brain to my body. And we all need to take a little dose of that every single day. Maybe not 2 miles, but do what you can. It really does help. And then just be still. That was something my dad used to always tell me, to rest, just be still. I was busy because there was so much to see and do. And if I couldn't see it and do it, I wanted to read a book about it. So I got a lot of books. And I'm okay with that, but just being still, I understand it now. I did not understand it when I was a child. And then connect to the present. Stay connected to what's going on right now in front of you. We all see the big picture. I get it. Sometimes the big picture is not warm and fuzzy. But look at the lichen on here. Look at the top of an acorn. Look at the squirrel that's sitting on the branch in the tree. And just focus on it. That's your present. It's not the whole woods. It's not, the damage they could be doing or where they're burying it. Look at that one thing. And it really does settle the mind. And then embrace nature. There's a sign outside that said, "Leave the leaves." If you all could have heard me scream when I saw it, I was like, yeah. Why? Because while we're raking leaves and putting them in those wonderful brown bags, we're missing the foliage that's on the trees. We're missing the dance of the leaves on the sidewalk. Just be still. Embrace nature as it is embracing us, basically. So what do? Like I told you, I drive around to the Botanic Garden. I go to any garden. I will stop on Capitol Hill and just park my car and walk through the neighborhoods. Every day it's different because a different leaf will fall all the time. A different branch will fall all the time. Somebody might put pansies in, somebody might put mums in, and somebody might have a native planting with something I've never seen before. But if I just sit in my car and go from car to office, office to home, I'm going to miss all that's in between. And that's why we've got to slow it down. I embrace my garden and the joy that it holds. You want to see me in a happy place? Watching the bees on my Vitex? Oh my goodness, it's like a bee party. You got to be careful though. This year I was actually stung by 15 bees. Yeah, it was a little bit intense. Especially, I have a dog named Precious. She really is my heartbeat. I had just put Precious in the car, which is her lounge, and then I got stung. So I'm in my doorway, and I'm trying to figure out how am I going to gracefully get back out to the car to get my dog. That was traumatic for me, but I did it. I had to step through my garden because Precious was looking at me like, you got to come get me. It was okay though, because I did capture a beautiful bee party on the Vitek. Maybe I got too close. Lesson learned. So I'm reading this article in Washington Magazine where a young millennial decided to offer up 3 tips on how to disengage from everything that we're hearing in the media nowadays. So his first thought was to wreck stuff in a rage room. So you're still inside, you're throwing stuff at a wall or whatever, you're wrecking stuff when you could be outside pulling weeds. This is tall Solidago. Let me tell you, when I first started my journey into, I'm just going to have native plants throughout my garden, somebody gifted this to me. This is like gifting me what I call ditch daylilies. It took over so much of my front garden. And I did not know, but I want the pollinators. I want to have butterflies and stuff in my garden. And this is great. It's going to stand above everything else. It did. It did. Now, instead of me going into a rage room, I know the leaf. I have learned the leaf by being still in my garden. And when I see the leaf and it gets about 8 inches tall, that's when I wreck stuff. I will pull it out quicker, and I know I'm not getting all the root because it'll come back either in the same place or different places. But that to me is so much better than wrecking stuff in a rage room. No. His second one was visiting a boxing gym. So hostile. I don't care for boxing, but it's almost like you see the raspberry canes, those wild berries, and they have thorns, but you're going to pull them out. I'd rather do that, knowing I'm going to puncture my fingers, especially if I don't have on the right gloves, because sometimes, I'm in a dress and heels, and I come home from work, and I see that wonderful foliage and go, I got to get it right now. And I know I'm going to hurt my hands, but you know what? I'd rather do that than go in a boxing gym. And then I had a client in Little Washington. He said, Teri, we're going to plant this cup plant. And I was like, okay. At that time, I wasn't familiar with the cup plant. Beneficial, yeah. Great for hummingbirds, all kind of, nature. Except it's almost like golfing indoors. You golf indoors, you're in a contained area, but you just keep going on and on and on. You're still indoors, and it's kind of boring. The cup plant is beautiful. It is beneficial. But the one place that we planted it, in this beautiful garden, it kept going and going and going. And then he was like, I don't think I want that anymore. It's like, oh, no kidding. Golfing was meant to be played outdoors. Why are we bringing it inside? It's kind of just boring. So why are we discontent? Why are we bothered? Why are we depressed? Number one, it's because we're stressed out. You can control your stress. Go outside and take a walk. Leave the phone inside. Go take a walk. Turn off the news. Bait switching. We believe, oh, the sky is blue. Well, but it's really green. But you see that it's blue, but someone is trying to convince you that it's green. Don't believe the hype. Don't fall for anything and everything. It's going to make you, like number 3, anxious. Anxiety will kill you. When you go into the garden, anxiety disappears. At least in my garden it does. Because anywhere and everywhere that I go and that I look, I see something different. I see a plant in different stages of growth. I see things in January because everyone else is inside, because it's cold outside, and I'm outside peeling back leaf layers. I'm outside checking to see, how is my tree peony? How are those buds coming? You know, do I see those wonderful red torpedoes coming up out of the ground? Yes. Anxiety, we can control this. And then disinformation. I have one favorite plant that I'll show you later on. When I first bought it, everyone was like, oh my goodness, it's gonna take over your garden. Oh, it's gonna be so tall and gangly. Oh, you'll never see it bloom. Total disinformation. This plant has been in my garden now for 20 years, since I've been in my house, 22 years exactly. It is not taken over. It is topped out at 4 feet. And when I say bee party, it is a bee party. Cell phones, once again, leave them alone. I'll tell you a trick. Put it on airplane mode. Because if there's a picture that you need to take, it's not going to ring. You have no clue who's trying to reach you to tell you the latest gossip. You have no clue on what the next headline is going to be 15 minutes from now. Put it on airplane mode. It works. Trust me. But you got to remember to turn it off of airplane mode because people begin to worry about you sometimes. And then sedentary lifestyles. This is something that really can get anyone that's still in the workplace or retired. My sister, love her to death. When my parents were alive, she did not garden. She found it quite boring, actually. When my dad and I would sit outside and he'd butcher Latin and I'd be like, no, that's not how you say it. That's not what you do. We would walk around and she'd be like, Dad, it's time to come in and eat. She was not interested in gardening at all. Fast forward, when my dad passed, he told me, make sure she gets that Amsonia. She really liked that leaf. My sister never told me this when my parents were alive, never. However, now she's retired. When she retired, this woman is a gardening demon. Every day, either it's a text or a phone call. Hey, what do you think about this plant? Hey, should I cut this back now? It's insane. Sedentary lifestyles. Before she really got the gardening bug, she was sitting. She had been a secretary all her life. Church secretary, so she was always on. But she was sitting. In retirement, oh, what am I going to do? Take piano lessons. She was sitting. The garden called her. As a writer and my day job, I'm director of first impressions for a commercial real estate company. I sit. And then I go home, I deal with my dog Precious, and then I write. Sedentary. But I don't always write. I try to save that for when it's dark outside. If it's light outside, even at the crack of dawn, I'm in my garden. If you go into the garden, get up off of that chair, walk through the garden, look at what's growing in your garden, be a part of your garden. This will kind of curb all that discontent, bothered, and depressed feeling that you might be holding on to. You don't need it. Nature calls us, and nature is there for us. The garden calls us, and the garden is there for us. Why? It's free. Even if you have one plant, you might have bought that one plant, but something blew into your garden that you might find beautiful. Someone gave you a cutting that you might find beautiful. Someone dug up a plant and said, Teri, I need to divide this, and they give it to you. Basically, nature's free. Even if it's not the garden, you walked into this botanic garden, it was free. You went through the garden and you walked through it and you saw the most beautiful things for free. The garden, it's such a healer. It's easily accessible. Even if it's not a botanical garden, walk down the street in your neighborhood. It's free. Walking is free. And there's no time limit. In the morning, it looks different than it looks in the evening. Some people, maybe me, if it's a long day and I really have intention on planting something, yes, I have a headlight. Yes, I go into the garden at night. Yes, it seems absurd, but you know what? There's nothing more joyful than seeing a big moth on the side of my house from something that I planted. If I did not have my little headlight on, I wouldn't have seen that. I would not have known that. From my moonflower, this big moth decided, I think I'm gonna perch on this post here. Amazing. The garden and nature invites us to pause and linger, but you wouldn't know that if you stay indoors. Lingering is such a gift. I cannot tell you how much of a gift it is. And the opportunity to capture joy. Joy is knowing that my dad could walk around his yard at night at 83 years old and tell you exactly what was planted where. Why? Because he was in his garden every day and he knew his garden. It brought him joy. My mom passed before my dad. The garden brought him joy. He was still planting stuff for my mother. When we were kids, he planted her a rose garden. The rose garden was against the fence. My mother, every spring, we planted the same thing. All annuals, marigolds, celosia, but mommy called it coxcomb, and her gladiolas. She loved her gladiolas. That is something that my dad, somewhere in the garden, up until he passed, there were those plants. And there was always a rose for my mom. When I tell you the joy all of us have found in knowing that their love ran so deep that he planted for her, and those things have carried on to all four of us, even if two of my siblings caught that bug a little late. It's okay. Right now, they're capturing joy. What are some actions that nature shares with us? Peaceful places. Think of your parks. Think of roadside, long drives. I'm a big advocate of long drives. Why? Because if you go on a long drive, look at what's on the sides of the road. All of those plants resemble resilience. If you are driving, pick out one of those plants. Research it, mimic it, become like it. It will help ground you. When things are really rough, if you think of that one plant and think of how it endures pollution, not being watered every day, all kind of animals feeding off of it or not, or just trampling it. And yet, every spring, it returns, like our native plants. Experiencing nature is a form of therapy, and you don't have to write a check for it. It's amazing. Our native plants, perennials or biennials, they all teach us a little something, something. Even our trees and shrubs. Sedum, we're all familiar with that. You know, I gave a hunk of sedum to one of my young neighbors. She didn't have a garden and she wanted a garden, but she's busy. She's working all the time. So she did not want something that she had to do a lot with. She came to me one day and she goes, Teri, something ate my sedum. It was a deer. I said, don't worry about it. It's okay. It'll come back. Fast forward to September. She said, Miss Teri, my sedum is blooming. She was so happy. Even after, and when I say the deer took it down, the deer took it down. But it bounced back. That's resilience. And that's what I shared with her, because when she initially shared with me that the deer had eaten it, she had lost her job. She looked to the garden to bring her joy. And here something just came along and just cut it off. However, now she's happy, because at least with that sedum, she knows it will come back. Now she's on her journey. I've done my job. Trees and shrubs, that's one that I really, this was a message for me. The year before our period of pausing, because I don't use the C word, my sister had seen a Texas redbud, blooms on the trunk and the stems. And she's like, oh, I need that. So I went to one of my favorite nurseries, and I bought one for her and bought one for me. And then I decided I'm gonna write a book or two while working full time and managing my own household. She planted hers. It's absolutely stunning. It's beautiful. Mine sat in the pot. Year 1. Year 2, I saw a little bloom on the side of the trunk. Top of it was deader than a doornail, but it was still there. Year 3, yeah, I should have been over it by then. I should have got it in the ground. Year 3, new growth came from the trunk, and it was filled with blooms. Year 4, I did plant it. Yeah, that was last year. I did plant it. And this spring, the blooms were beautiful. And I look at this leaf, this beautiful red bud, and I think to myself, that was one morning. The leaf itself captures my heart. But also, this red bud has shown me how resilient it is. And if you travel up and down the road in the springtime, look for that wonderful haze of pink. Those are your red buds. Someone in my neighborhood, some grass cutting crew or something, there were some beautiful red buds and a median. And somebody unsupervised came through and cut them all down. They were trying to convince me that a disease had taken them out. I'm like, no. No. And I'm looking at my little red bud in the pot. And I'm like, no. I think somebody just didn't know. Somebody was probably stressed, rushed, wasn't really paying attention. And yes, there is a red bud disease out there now, but it wasn't on those. Those were taken out. We got to pay attention to the lessons that nature is teaching us. Like the echinacea. When you see echinacea, and they're everywhere, all different cultivars now, but if you look at the basic echinacea, the seeds at the end of the season, you see the birds flocking to them. You see the bees active on them throughout the season. And next year, where you might have had one this year, you've got 4 next year. It might be in a different part of the garden than you had planned for it to be. Because nature decided, we're going to take a walk, and I think I want to see some pink there. And I think I want to see some pink here. And I think I want to do a white one over there. And it's okay. You got to work with nature. And you know what? It takes away the stress of, I've got this perfectly designed garden, and that's where I want to be. Let that go. It's okay. Liatris. This is one, I went for a drive, stopped in a little town. It was this hill, and I could see all the native plants on the hill on the side of this church. And there was one guy, he was weeding. It was hot. And it was like, ooh, I need to go talk to him and kind of calm him down because I don't want him to be laid out on that hill while he's working. And we started talking about the liatris. These wonderful, fluffy spires come up all summer long. And you think, is that all there is? Because we're impatient, because we got those phones where you can Google it, and you can find out right now what it's going to look like. You don't have to wait till fall. But if you're patient, you'll notice the beautiful purple blooms. If you're patient, you'll notice all of the beneficial insects that are attracted to the liatris. And that's when you should pause and pay attention. Nature has lessons for us. She gives us a wonderful preamble. You got to stay and listen to the whole program. Look at the whole garden at the end of the season. Anus hyssop. This is one, when I tell you, it just has something for everybody. This was the hottest plant I grew in my garden in Fredericksburg. I used it for tea. I would watch nature happen around it. My daughters would sit and watch everything evolving around this one plant that was in the front of the yard, in my front garden. When this bloomed, we just kind of sat and looked. Such a great beneficial. And the seeds, yes, it can get a little crazy. Sometimes it goes here, there, and everywhere. Easy to pull out and give to a friend and share. Dry it for tea. You can even make a bug repellent from it. That's a plant that should be in everyone's garden. And it's also a plant that should also tell everyone, we are not a monolith. We can do more than one thing at a time. This is a plant that shows us what perennial abundance is all about. This little hello strip, yeah. Across the street from it, there are train tracks. Now, if you notice anything about train tracks, normally it's real weedy. Nobody cares. There's trash blowing through from the train comes through. This was carefully curated using native plants that would attract all types of beneficials, so that if you're walking your dog past this hello strip, you're going to pick up the poop. More importantly, you've got a young child, they're going to be paying attention to what's growing there. And you're going to probably, if you are a gardenaholic like I am, you're going to want some of that in your own yard. This was honestly in Memphis just this summer. I had seen it last summer, and they had just installed it. This year, when I tell you the activity that evolved around this one strip at the end of a neighborhood where nobody was going because the train was so loud, but then you've got all this beauty right across the street from it. That is the best distraction. It's like a dose of medicine. It was a garden blogger's fling, and so many people wanted to go see, because I had told everyone, you got to see this hello strip. It's got a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and pause in front of it, stand in front of it. And they did. Talk about joy from a strip, a median strip. In Buffalo, there's one neighborhood that takes a whole median strip. Each homeowner takes a segment of it, and they plant it up. Diversity deluxe. When I tell you, everyone has their own version of beauty, and when I go there and I see there's a woman on the corner, and she's got these bodacious hanging plants. Like, how do you water them? She has a pulley. She uses that pulley to lower them, water them, raise them back up, and at the same time, she's looking at that median strip. That's a joy. That's a distraction I think that we all need. So don't let your neighborhood HOA tell you you can't plant. You can at least talk to them about it. Every garden should have diversity with blooms, foliage, and scent. There's a book called The Chocolate Lover's Garden. It just came out. She talks about plants not only with chocolate foliage, but scent. Did you know that there was a clematis that smells like chocolate? Yeah. Now imagine a vine on an arbor, and you're walking through, and all of a sudden it's like, oh. Yeah, yeah. Scent in the garden is so meaningful. You got to plant, and there are plants, other plants that have scents to them that will attract pollinators that you might not smell, but the beneficials will smell. Try planting those. Do the research. Gardening is more than just picking up a Better Homes and Garden magazine and saying that you're a gardener because you bought their little template on what to plant where. No. Your garden should be an extension of yourself. And that is how you stay connected with the present. This is that plant I was telling you about that everyone told me was going to take over my garden. It didn't. 22 years. But when I say bee party, oh, such a bee party. This plant, 4 foot tall. Now maybe because I have it in part shade, which is one way you can control something that somebody else might say is aggressive. I don't find it aggressive. It has expanded maybe 2 times the original size of it, and I bought it out of my Fredericksburg garden in a gallon pot. But it's in semi-shade instead of full shade. But one of my friends came up and was like, it's never going to bloom. Those are blooms, and those are bees. Working with nature and not against it, I put it where I thought it should belong. I think I chose the right place because it's still there. And it gets more and more beautiful with time. I've used it in cut flower arrangements. It's in the aster family. Asters are a native plant for the mid-Atlantic. So this one may not be a true native, but it's in the same family. Look at those familial connections. I've got family in this room, and I've got ancestry in North Carolina. All that brings me joy, just like my aster. Grounding. This is important. Grounding is a way to just stay sane at the end of the day. That's what it means. I'm a true gardener. Because I work in downtown DC, I must ground myself daily. Every single morning. I go outside. I don't care what the weather is. And I'm usually barefoot. When I don't do that, due to any conditions, well, Snowmageddon was one, I couldn't do it. 3 feet of snow, you really shouldn't be out there barefoot. But I did clear an area right outside of my terrace in the back, and I put my hands down, and I touched the earth. Other than Snowmageddon, I walk around my house. I walk through my garden. I walk past my camellias. I walk past my hydrangea. I walk past my perennial border. And I pause. And I don't race through it. Yes, I'm probably a little late to work most days. It's okay. That's the traffic. It is not due to me grounding myself. I'm convinced of this. But it helps me just kind of set the tone for the day. If you live in a townhouse, maybe you can't go around the whole building. Make an area, create a space to put your hands or just to stand. I prefer barefoot. Do what you want. But there's something about connecting to the earth first thing in the morning. After I meditate and pray, I'm in the garden. Sometimes before I take Precious out, I just have to ground myself. It really works. It is good for your soul. If you don't want to do that, just walking. Turn it off. Leave the cell phone home or in your pocket in case of emergency. Just walk with no idea of where you're going to end up. Just walk. The art of walking, the art of movement is another way to ground yourself. It works. Then there are these sensory techniques, which I'm going to cheat here because I keep forgetting them, because my grounding is personal, and you should make it personal to you. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Think of 5 things that you can see anywhere you are. Then think of 4 things that you can touch. Doesn't have to be in the garden. It can be a rock. It could be, I have a square from my dad's overalls. And on top of that, I've stitched a heart because it reminds me of my mom from one of her pajamas. It's with me anywhere and everywhere I go. And when the world gets too rough, I just hold on to it. It brings you back to the present. Really, truly does. Think of three things you hear, whether it's, Precious and her squeaky toy. It could be my grandson saying, Grandma, in a manly voice, and they're taller than me, and it's like, they were so little. Or it could even be my sister's special ring. We're very close. She has a special ring. When I hear that ring, I pick it up. Sometimes she just wants to talk about plants. Other times it's, I show you my granddaughter. Okay. Three things you hear. Two things that you can smell. I love the smell of a sweet potato pie in the oven any time of year. I also love the smell of cornbread. I also love the smell of my dad's cologne. And I know that since he's passed, the scent has changed, but it's that memory, muscle memory, they call it, and something that you can taste. Whatever your favorite thing is that you can taste. To ground yourself is to come up with those 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 things. And whatever is on the headlines, whatever's on the news, whatever, it doesn't matter. Because those things are what bring you joy. And a lot of it can be found in the garden. Talking with yourself. No one's in the garden but you. Maybe your dog, maybe a cat. Your neighbor might be across the fence going, who is she talking to? It doesn't matter. Talk to yourself in the garden. I don't think I want that there. I think I want something else. I think I want the paper bush. Because when I come around the corner, I want to have a nice scent in the springtime. Talk to yourself in the garden. And talk. Talk, talk, talk. We went through that period of pausing where everyone was scared to touch people, to go out in public. Talk. Don't text your friend, your neighbor, your sister, your brother. Talk to them. It will bring you back to the present. Talk. Words matter. Personal, my ex-husband used to only listen to jazz. There were no words. I love jazz, but I create my own words for jazz now. And sometimes they make sense and sometimes they don't. It doesn't matter. I talk and I sing to myself in my garden with words to baby songs that don't really have words, but I make it up. Whether it's a song about a plant. Words matter. Talk, talk, talk. That is therapy and it's free. Talk. There's always somebody to talk to. Talk to the tree in your yard. Talk to your plants. It does it. It helps them grow. It does. Explore new places. This is a way that we can really embrace nature and become resistant to what's going on in the rest of the world. One of my coworkers said, oh, what are you doing this weekend? I was like, I'm going to North Carolina, I have a talk. He goes, oh, that's going to be exciting. I was like, yeah, but what's going to be more exciting is watching the foliage along my drive. And the look was like, huh? Yes. Why? Because 2 weeks ago I was in Baltimore. I thought it's going to be chillier. The leaves will definitely have changed color. No. It's like, wow. And that's colder. That's like zone 6. I'm 7B. So I was a little disappointed. Saw a little bit of color, but not that wow factor color. Back home, some things are changing. I have a crepe myrtle in my backyard that normally by now is like blaze on. It's thinking about it. It's not rushing. I guess it's like, oh, she's going to need to build up that resistance because we're just at the beginning of fall. We're just going to hold on a minute. It's okay. And then I hit the North Carolina line. The fall color. Yes, I did pull over and took a lot of pictures. My dog was like, do I get to go again? I'm like, no. I'm just taking a picture real quick. The colors are amazing. Walking through the garden this afternoon, wow factor, and it's free. You know, looking up, look up. At one point in the garden, we were looking, and I was looking beyond what was being brought to my attention. Why? Because I saw and I noticed the layering of the branches and the color, the layers of color. This was free. Go outside. Nature has so many lessons to teach us, but you cannot do it from your window. To a point you can, but it's so much more fun if you go outside and experience it firsthand. Touching things. Kind of got to know what you're doing there, but that naked weed in your garden, you touch it, it has thorns, you know, probably don't want that here. But if you just left it and just looked at it, it'll be there next year and it'll be stronger and the roots will be stronger. Touch things. Be inquisitive. Step back into your childhood and smell things. Not just the plants, but smell the air. If you walked into this room, could you not smell the cedar? Just thinking about it. Think beyond what is being presented to you. So that's a white, microphone in the ceiling. But is it scented? When I go to weddings and some of these florists will make these wonderful hanging displays, and people will tell you, oh my goodness, that was expensive. Oh, it's got to be heavy. Oh, those colors. But is anyone smelling the air up there? Try it next time you're at one of these events with these, outrageous displays. Smell the air. Go outside and smell the air. Go outside into the deep part of the woods and smell the air. Smell the air on that path that everyone else walks down and everyone can tell you the trees and the botanical name for this and that. Smell the air. It will change your mind on so many things. And then rest. Rest is one of the main components of developing a sense of resistance. A lot of us, we get up early. I do. I'm up at 5 o'clock every day, drinking lots of water all day long, especially sparkling water. I love it. But I always read something positive first. I carry little books around with me all the time. And I write down little, I call them seeds. Seeds of positivity. Seeds of thought. If you don't want to carry around a book and an ink pen, that's fine. Find a book that speaks to you. There are books, and I'll show you in a little bit, that you can go to sleep by because they're excerpts, they're little essays, or a poem that just kind of rests your mind, takes you away from everything else that you're hearing, and it relaxes you. And then that cell phone, put it in the other room. Get an old-fashioned alarm clock. I have a couple. I love them. The Big Bens, I love them. Get them from Walmart every year. Because sometimes they get tossed if I don't really want to get up. So you gotta have backup, But your phone alarm, the phone is right by your bed. So you can turn the volume down, you can turn the volume off. It's still right there. You wake up in the middle of the night and it's like, oh, I can't sleep. What do? You doom scroll. Or you look up plants and then you can't get back to sleep. Kind of delays your next day. But when you rest with intention. Really. Don't go to bed thinking about, oh, what am I going to do tomorrow? Oh, I got to get on the road tomorrow. Oh, I got to plan for that party. I got to plan for that event. Oh, we got meetings. You're not resting. You're going to sleep knowing that I got 6 hours. I got to get up, get dressed, walk the dog, get to work. That's not rest. You just went to sleep. Rest. dress with intention. It's going to help you build your resistance to all the negativity that's thrown our way. Read something inspiring, like my book, Black Flora. When I say this, I say it and we giggle, but honestly, a lot of the young people in this book taught me a little something, something. The Cottons, and they're right here. They didn't want the mega house. They didn't want the fine car. They wanted to raise their children in a loving environment and show them what hard work means. And they're doing it. That's inspiring to me because most of the young people in the DMV, you know, we don't need a car because we've got a car service. We can call and have someone drop us off and we can have groceries delivered. Why would we go to a grocery store? And I'm thinking, the world has changed. I personally love going into the produce department and picking my own apples. I love going to an orchard, picking my own pears. We just had an event at work, our corporate fall, I call it our gathering, or our autumnal gathering. I could have gone and just made a phone call. I was like, can we have 60 pumpkins delivered? Instead, I was in the store. I picked my pumpkins. I found joy in that. My phone was in the car, and I picked them, each and every one. The hydrangea blooms I used for the table, I cut from my own yard. I picked them. That one's not right. No, I need this one. Oh, that's going to be a nice big one. I personally invested time to do that. These young people inspired, they are so inspiring. One other young lady, she is now teaching horticulture. She moved from the Midwest to this coast to family land. She is still connected to the flowers because once the garden calls you, there is no turning back. Talk to an elderly farmer. They might move slow, they might need help getting up, but they will tell you what you did wrong in that planting because it never leaves you. These young people, they are inspiring a new generation, and there's one back there. He made this beautiful display here. She's inspiring somebody else to just do it, to step out of your familiar and listen to the call of nature. So important. And there's a couple of, there was 25 stories in there, but there are so many more. But you would only find that out if you talk to people. When I was suggesting books for calming reading, The Gardener's Bed Book. Now, my copy is in really bad shape because I've had it for probably 10 years. And I flip through it, I'll read something one time, read through it another time. And there's nothing long, but it's something to just mentally take you away. That is what we need right now. The newest one I bought was The Bedside Gardener and Companion. That book is awesome. I'm going to list these for you at the end. Whoops. Moved too fast there. I have a whole list of these for you at the end. When I tell you these books, either one, you can lay in bed and read for 3 minutes, 4 minutes. Put the book down. Many nights I dream I'm in England. I've been to England. I'm going back. I decided this year to travel within the United States, looking for native habitats, looking for what's right here at home, and then I'll venture back out. England and Paris, my heart, my heart. When I tell you the excerpts in some of these books will make you think, maybe I don't need that vegetable garden. Maybe I need a cutting garden. Yeah. Maybe I need a fragrance garden. Maybe I need to make that area a place where I can use native plants for dyeing and dye some fabric. Next year, I'm trying an indigo bed. That's going to be interesting. Create spaces that will help you build your resilience by having privacy. Everyone doesn't need to see what you're doing. You can share if you want to. This is in Western North Carolina. It looks like just evergreens and plants, but there's a chair in the midst of that garden. There's also a busy road behind those evergreens. You would never know it. But my friend that lives there, you can sit in that garden, which he had said, and we communicate all the time. He said, you can sit in that garden and just not realize where you are. He was right. I drove there, and because I just needed to get away from the city, get away from the noise. And I sat out there early in the morning. I sat out there in the evening. Each time it was a different sound, especially at night. Sit outside in the garden at night. It's the strangest feeling, but it brings you peace, and you definitely sleep better. I slept so good. Oh my goodness. And even if you're in the middle of the city, houses close together, as in a lot of cities they are, create a space in your backyard. Make it you. Put your personality into it. This is a couple in Memphis. You would think, oh my goodness, I could look out the window and see in the next person's window. However, between the tree, the fence, you really couldn't. Privacy is worth its weight in gold, especially when you got to work on how am I going to get through the next day. Here's a space, unexpected, front yard. I'm on a mission. I want everybody to get back out into your front yards. Stop taking people to your backyard, to the patio. You plant, you spend money in plants, people gift you with plants, and then you traipse people to the back. What's up with that? Come back to the front yard. In the South, growing up, when we came to North and South Carolina to visit our relatives, we sat on the front porch. A lot of houses don't have front porches now. But you can create a space in your front that is inviting and that virtually serves as an escape. There's two little girls at the end of my cul-de-sac. The cottage really is in a court. And one is about 6 and the other one's about 12, almost in teenagedom. They would come and talk to me, and I have a 5-gallon bucket with a fisherman's seat on it. That's what I garden with. I can get my tools and everything. They would come and talk to me, and I'm always, in the middle of coming or going. The little 6-year-old said, Miss Teri, why are you rushing? Made me think. They wanted me to sit and talk with them. So I sat on my bucket. 2 hours later, after talking about everything from math, the moon, science, the trees, my dog, one of them said she was a little missionary in her little church. A little Hispanic girl. She was just the cutest thing. What's more important, she's like, can we just sit on your porch sometime? I was like, well, sure. But then I had to go in my grandma mode. Why sit on the porch? So I put a little gazebo in the front. When I get home, I got to put the bench together. Because right now, there's just 2 pieces of wood in there for them to sit on. But I want to put the bench up under that gazebo. I'm inviting them to come in, to step away from everything else that's going on. I told the 12-year-old, you know what? I'm going to make sure that we're going to have hot chocolate in the garden this winter. I'm going to make sure that instead of being in the hammock, try to read a book when you're swinging, you can come and sit in my garden and read your book. I can't wait to get that bench put together when I get home. Because I want any young person that I'm around, any old person that I'm around, I want them to understand sitting in nature is the elixir that we need right now. You just can't beat it. This is Kim's front yard. She can sit out there, the ferns, she's a little thing, you would not notice that she's out there. At the same time, they have jam sessions right there, where she invites musicians in. No TV, no Zoom, no YouTube, real live people talking and spending time with each other in nature. Just being still. Once again, I didn't know what Daddy meant. I know now. This is another garden in Memphis. You would think it's all foliage. It's just, a lot of activity. There were tons of butterflies. You could hear the singing of the bees. I could just imagine myself sitting on that blue stool, writing, reading. No phone, no jazz in the background, nothing. Just sitting and immersing myself in the moment. You have a space in your garden, on your deck, on your terrace, on your balcony, where you too can just kind of reinforce your spirit. Just be still. Accessibility is key. Whether you are mobile or not, if you have an elder in your life or a person that's disabled, think of big pots. Think of something that they can reach from a wheelchair, from a scooter, from a 5-gallon bucket. Think of something that they can reach. And it doesn't have to be like vegetables in a pot. It can be something whimsical. If you look to the right of this, it could be something that's just art. Balls, glass balls. Adds a pop of color. It's simple. You don't have to think about it. They don't need to be watered, don't need to be weeded. But it's a colorful statement to just take you away. These are things that help build up our resistance. This is a woman who is on one of those rolling chairs. We've become friends. Why? Her garden was absolutely amazing. She had a gardener. But this area here, she had a couple areas that she could wheel around in herself. It brings her joy. It engages her with her garden. And it brings her peace. Meaningful. Observing nature up close. Now, this year, I don't know why carnivorous plants just caught my eye, but this is a friend of mine that lives in Charlottesville. He's very mobile. He's a landscape designer. And when I saw these tubs, I thought to myself, what a great way to experience nature up close and personal. You don't have to use carnivorous plants. You can use anything. Bring it up close. You don't have to actually go out into your garden. Sometimes we have barriers. My garden is so big, I probably need to downsize it. Oh, I'll get to it next season. And then season, and the next season, and the next season, and then you've lost interest. Keep it exciting. Create little vignettes that will draw you in and make you have to do the research. And think about what you're doing to engage yourself, to be in tune with nature and working with nature. I'm so excited to see what mine turn out to be this next year. Right now they're looking a little rough, but it's that time. But it's something I've never done before. Trying new and different things is another way to be resilient. Why? Because you got to focus on something else. Focus is key. The distraction, oh my goodness. And then if you are gardening and you do not have places in your garden to sit, you're not gardening. That's your second job. Make sure that you have a place to pause. And if you're like me, Either make sure it's where you don't get a signal or you leave your phone in the house. I love my phone, but I will tell you, I have made a conscientious effort to use my phone less, unless it's for taking pictures. I'm not gonna say I'm totally stress-free, but when I tell you, half the time, I don't care what's going on, except for what's in my garden. It makes a difference. And yes, I do sit in my garden, different spaces at different times of the day, different days of the week, and even at night. Create places in your garden that's going to reframe your thoughts or invite you to try something new. Who in here has an espalier wall? I thought not. It's so easy once you get it started. And it's an art form. And you have to pay attention where you prune. And you have to train it to grow. You can't do that and be worried about what's going to happen 15 minutes from now. You have to be in the moment. In Williamsburg, I saw a pear tree trained 3 foot tall, abundant fruit. At 3 feet tall, tree, pears. Tree, pears. It was absolutely beautiful. Learn something new in the garden. It'll teach you how to not pay attention to the negative energy and focus on something that's going to be rewarding, because then you can go and tell your friends, I espaliate a wall. I got this down pat. And then just be still. Whatever you do, walk through nature, drive through it, go on a long drive, I want to go to Grounds for Sculpture in New Jersey. Why? I know it's wintertime and, they have beautiful blooms in the summertime. I want to see the trees in their winter unclothing, if we want to say it nicely. Why? Look at the branches. Oh my goodness. Look at the trunks. Look at what's on the ground. Look at the squirrels' nests that are up in the trees. I can't wait. It'll be another road trip for me. And then I also want to go to some other gardens, be they public or private, to see what's going on. Why? Because you know what? The news is going to be maybe different 15 minutes from now, but it's still going to be news. But if you take a drive, that's going to be someplace you're going to see that day, that time, and it's not going to look the same tomorrow. And if you take a picture of it, then you can keep it with you. So when you are in need of a distraction, you've got that picture and you've got that memory. It works. So my takeaways for you guys, turn off the external negative noise. Turn it off. We don't need it. It's messing with our minds. It's messing with our heart, our spirit, our bodies. It's taken away the joy that we should be receiving daily. Think of something pleasant, something positive, and ground yourself. If you have grandma's handkerchief from her church purse, remember those? I got that too. I have my Grandpa Heron's pajama top as a memory of him. There are these little things that you can just hold on to and just think of the positive. And it works. It works. It makes you so much more resilient. When things come your way, you can go, well, I'm not letting that negative energy in today. People speed past me when I'm on my way to work. And I'm just like, Lord, I hope they make it to work. Because right now, I'm looking at the shade of red on those leaves over there. And I still make it to work. Works for me. Find a plant or even art that speaks to you. It was funny because I really wasn't aware of the art display that was taking place here. And I'm going through the garden, and it was just like, oh, that piece of art really reflects what's going on, the bigger picture. that artist really captured this. Art is so beautiful in the garden. Even if it's just a big pot, incorporate some type of art in it. And you can make it from nature. You can buy art. You can try your hand at it. But add some art to your garden and make sure that it speaks to you. And most importantly, just breathe. Walk through these gardens, any other public gardens. I'm a huge advocate of public gardens, private gardens. Walk and talk to people in the garden. Say hi. It's not going to kill you. Ask someone on the grounds, what plant is that? It might be something that you need. It might be something that you might go to a garden center and buy it and put it in your garden. And then you'll go, I remember the first time I saw that plant. It's the greatest distraction, nature. Oh, she's so amazing. This is something that everyone that knows me, at some point, I always tell them. The garden is a healer. And it truly, truly is. No matter what has gone on in my life, whether it was becoming an empty nester, or divorce, or losing my parents, or finding out that my sister had cancer. The garden is a healer. Why? Because I could go in my garden. There's nothing better than a plant that has been watered with your tears, especially if it's a plant that you can say, Candy likes Samsonia. I got to cut these seed heads off, else I'm going to have it all over my garden. The garden is such a healer. I cannot tell you all this. Turn off that external noise. Go into the garden. Allow it to heal you. Allow it to heal your mind and your heart. And explore different places that have gardens that you may not have ever seen. Just get out there and embrace nature. It's a gift that keeps on giving. It's amazing. If you want to take a picture of this slide, because this has all the books I mentioned. And if you really need music, although nature has her own music, Keiko Matsui, I'm a major fan. Her music really, really, really takes me to a different place. It has no words, but you can make up your own words. Or you can apply it to a plant in your garden. But when I tell you these are things, these are tools that will make us more resilient to what's going on in the world right now. We all have to deal with it. We know it. It's not going to, be gone in the morning. But if we can center our thoughts, our focus, go outside in nature, let it be the elixir that we all need. I promise you, it's going to put you in a better place. These are my books. The Urban Garden. Kathy and I spent a lot of time on that book, and it's for small space gardeners. Pot, plot, courtyard. There are things you can do to bring nature into your space. And then Black Flora, be inspired. And when you see a young person with flowers for sale at a market or on the side of the road or even for the holidays, talk to them, encourage them and inspire them. They are our next. They are like the seeds that their ancestors planted, basically. They are the seeds, and we got to keep that garden going. We really, really have to. It's important for the next. Thank you all. Follow me. My podcast is coming back. I had to breathe as well with the changes in the world. I had to just stop for a minute and really gather my thoughts, gather myself, and really think about what am I doing? And I strongly feel now, because we're all kind of caught up in this cycle of negativity and we need to gird our loins, so to speak. It's time for me to step back up to the mic and share words of encouragement and share stories of other people that are encouraging our next. It's really important. And to help you all find new plants, because there's always a plant that you need, native or not. So thank you all for spending a little bit of time with me this evening. Hopefully, you'll go home and turn the phone off, put it on airplane mode, take pictures when you're out tomorrow, and buy an alarm clock so that you can get up and really just kind of be in a better place and be strengthened to learn something new and not just get caught up in this cycle of negativity. We got to get out of that. Be resilient. Be like nature. She's there for us. Thank you. Are there any questions?
Yeah, we have one right here.
Do you travel everywhere with your dog? With Precious?
With Precious?
Yes.
I travel anywhere that I can with Precious. If I'm in my car and if I'm driving somewhere, yeah, I do. Yeah.
Saw that on the image for you with
Yes.
your dog.
Yes. You'd be surprised. I mean, and I'm a major dog person. I used to have Rottweilers. I also had a bigger car. But Precious is a boxer in a lab. The excitement of this dog is amazing. To get in the car, first she has to let all the neighbors know, my mom's got me in the car. And it's like, oh, if someone wanted to break into my house, they could, because she announces it very loudly. But the joy, she navigates when I'm driving from right here. And I keep saying, Precious, get back, Precious, get back, Precious, get back. But what's funny is, I know she enjoys it, watching through the windows, the scenery and all, because yesterday after driving down here, riding around all, she slept like a baby last night. She was just so tired, because I guess all that watching was, tired. So yeah, I do, as much as I can. Yes, yes.
So I noticed one of your books was on growing foods in urban environments, growing gardens in urban environments. Are you encouraging people to use containers or little spaces, or what's your preference?
To be quite honest with you, I live in the city of District Heights. It's an urban suburb just outside the nation's capital. A lot of people, for some reason, don't want to dig in the soil. Okay. A lot of people also don't want to invest in a lot of containers. You'd be surprised what you could do with a 5-gallon bucket.
Yes.
5-gallon bucket with proper drainage. Kathy and I went to one area in downtown Silver Spring at a fire station. This man had built a wooden platform, if you will, with 3 tiers of 5-gallon buckets. He didn't have to bend over to do anything. And when I tell you those buckets were overflowing, it was amazing. So I am a big believer in reusing, recycling, and reducing. I'm passionate about that, honestly. Somebody's always giving away pots. But if you don't want to give away pots, those 5-gallon food grade buckets, because some of them have chemicals in them, food grade, make sure it's food grade. Restaurants usually have them. And they want to get rid of them because they're going to trash them. Plant them up. You'd be surprised. I've got collards and kale and some now in the community garden. Then I have mine in the ground at home. So, yeah.
You had mentioned that you have a fisherman's seat on your 5-gallon bucket. And I had this image, I didn't know what you were talking about, if you had your tools inside your bucket and then a seat on top, or can you describe what that setup is?
The fisherman's seat, you can order them online, y'all know where. And it has a cutout. Sorry. It has a cutout, almost like a happy face on one side. My favorite tools are my trach, my Japanese digging knife. You can reach in that opening.
I see, so you put it on top of the bucket,
Yeah.
so your tools are right there.
Yeah, my tools are inside the bucket.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice.
So the fisherman's seat, and you can sit on it, trust me on this, you can sit on it for a whole day and you're still good. But you can reach inside that little cutout and grab your tools. You can also use, if you have a garden rake, but that's all, If you turn it the right way, you can put it in that hole and kind of lean back on a little bit. Sometimes, because I work and I do a lot of different things, and I'm active with my garden clubs, sometimes my time is tight. So that 5-gallon bucket stays by my door or in my car with all the necessary tools and seeds, because you gotta have your seeds, and little baggies for cuttings. It works.
And that's great, so then you take it with you.
Oh, yeah, because you got the handle. Yeah. We use recycle, reduce. They were, I think it was some sub place near me. My car is red, my bucket's red. Anything else? Yes.
Thank you so much for this talk. I think that cultivating resilience and connection is radical act right now. I was gifted a bunch of native seeds. I don't really know what to do with them. Can I just scatter them or?
You don't know what they are?
I do.
You
I've
do?
had about like 20 different kinds of, yeah.
Okay. You can create a space in your garden. In my zone, I would scratch the ground,
Okay,
disperse the seeds,
okay,
water them in, and I would put some type of a light mulch or sand on top for vermiculite. I've been using it lately, and let them come up. But you can also do that in a bucket or a big pot.
great, thank you. And
You're
fall
welcome.
is good for planting?
You're welcome.
Okay.
Anyone else?
Okay.
Well, thank you all.
Exactly. Garden features for your dog, or if the design of your garden is at all.
That's part of my path that's around my house. First of all, if I take one step, Precious takes two. So she's never that far apart from me.
Or 10.
Or 10, yeah. And she doesn't dig. She's not a digger. So she just wants to be by my side. So part of that path around my house was, sometimes if it's really too cold and I really don't want her out there, we'll, go around the house a couple of times. But she has to go to the green space in front of the house to poop. That's my requirement. Yeah, and she understands it, so we're good. Yeah. Yes. Of course.
Yes, that's an excellent segue, actually. Teri, thank you so much for sharing your stories and your knowledge and your wisdom with us. And thanks to all of you for being here and all of those folks who are online. I'm really glad that you came out tonight. And yes, we invite you over to the exhibit hall. We have a reception with some refreshments and also a book signing. So if you already have your book, Teri can sign it. And if you're interested in purchasing Black Flora, we have it for sale in the garden shop. So thank you so much.